Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my Dark Irregulars deck. So this deck, this one is really an inexpensive one to build because it's kind of more of like a fun, casual deck for standard format, but it's a whole lot of fun and it can do some pretty crazy stuff sometimes. So it's definitely not the premier or favored Protect clan right now. I think Oracle Think Tank's got that pretty much in the bag at this point. But Dark Irregulars have always been the really interesting kind of soul-based clan, and this deck is no exception. So this one is my Demon Eater and Master Fifth Element deck. So for Demon Eater, this is your main grade 3. This deck is relatively very affordable. Probably the most expensive card in here is the Draw Sentinel, March Rabbit of Nightmareland, which is pretty essential if you want to actually run the deck semi-competitively. But Demon Eater, she's real good. Basically, when she's a Vanguard and your Guardian is retired, you can put it into the Soul. So it combos real well with certain grade 1 that we're running in here. And then you can also use it with that same grade 1 to do its other effect where it gains 10,000. That card will give it 10,000. And then if you can Soul Blast 10, the opponent can't Sentinel block. So you can kind of go for like a final turn push as well. So pretty solid card out of the grade 3 lineup. The other one I'm running is Master Fifth Element. So he's back in action as well. He used to be Limit Break in Binding Force of the Black Rings, BT12, way back when. People would mix him with King of Mass Stuntarian, which was the break ride for Dark Irregulars. But anyway, he's kind of your finisher card. I think of the current standard decks as you have a Vanguard that you want to first ride on turn 3, and then you have like a final late game one that has a finisher move. So that would be this guy. You could run 3 of him, and then you could tech in like another common grade 3 or whatever else you would think is as a good rearguard or whatever. But we're running Master Fifth Element. He doesn't do a whole lot if you ride him early, so you kind of don't want to ride him early, but I mean, you still get the gift, so it's not the end of the world. Just know that he won't really do much until you have the 15 soul to do his big move. So that's the grade 3 lineup. For grade 2s, we're running 4 Flirtatious Succubus. This is probably one of the better grade 2s available right now for the clan. At the end of the battle that it attacked a Vanguard, you can put it into the soul. It's a rearguard effect, obviously because you're putting in the soul. And then you can choose one of the opponent's rearguards to retire. So it gives you the ability to choose any one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. So it's very nice. Better than a lot of Shadow Paladin cards right now, because Shadow Paladin, in my opinion, without being able to choose like they used to, they're kind of, I don't know, subpar in terms of the retire power. But then she also does have a soul effect. You can counterblast, discard a card from your hand, and return her to your hand, so you can get her back if you need like a grade 2 or something. If you're up against Kagero or someone who keeps on blowing up your field, then you can like bring her out and help her attack or get some extra cards to attack. For the other grade 2s, we've got 4 Werwolf Sieger. Werwolf Sieger is decent as a Vanguard because when he attacks a Vanguard, you can soul charge 2 cards, and it doesn't have to hit. You just soul charge 2. So a very good grade 2 rearguard, and he also has, if you've got 5 or more soul on Vanguard or rearguard, he gains 5,000 power during your turn. So he's more of like the attacker out of the grade 2 rearguards. He's the one that gains the power and stuff. So we want to run 4 copies of him. Then the other grade 2 I'm running is Gwyn the Ripper. He used to be much better, actually. I don't like how they kind of nerfed his retire skill. So basically, when he's placed on Vanguard or rearguard circle, you get to soul charge 1. So he's not too bad as a Vanguard. He does have a Vanguard effect and rearguard effect, which does this. Then if you have 10 or more cards in your soul, you can counterblast 1, choose 1. I really think that this should have been 5 or more cards rather than like 10 or more cards. That's why I'm only running 3 of him, because if you want to use his retire power, it ends up showing up later in the match than what I expect for this clan. So it's kind of a slow card to get the full benefit of his effect, but he's still one of the better cards available for the clan right now. So 3 of him. And that's the grade 2 lineup. For grade 1s, running 4 Doreen the Thruster. Doreen the Thruster, very iconic card for Dark Irregulars. along with Werwolf Sieger, but mainly her. Werwolf Sieger never saw play past like the first season of Vanguard, but Doreen the Thruster has always been good. She's been used in a lot of different Dark Irregular decks over the years. So her effect here is Vanguard or Rearguard. When a card is put into Soul, due to an ability of one of your cards, she gains 5,000 power. So she's basically the big power gainer for the clan and makes them hit those high numbers. Next, another very iconic card, Dimension Creeper. This card came out with Master of the Fifth Element, actually. Back when Break Ride started out. This came out with like Nebula and Raging Form and all those guys. This guy, he's always had that effect where when he's put into Soul, he has an effect where you can remove him from the Soul to Soul Charge 3. That's what he does here. But now they kind of do it where you Soul Blast, or no, you Counterblast 1, you put him on the bottom of the deck, and then Soul Charge 3. So it's minusing 1. Basically, it's a net gain of 2 to the Soul for a Counterblast 1. That's essentially what happens. Because he's replacing himself, then he adds 2 cards. So, very good with Doreen. That's why we're running 4 of each of them. Helps you try to get up to that 10 soul needed for Demon Eater, or 15 soul for Master of Fifth Element. So, pretty good card to kind of close out, or get power numbers if you need them. Then we're running 4 Vroukalakas. Vroukalakas, he's an interesting card, to say the least. Basically, when he's retired from the Guardian Circle, you can put him into the Soul. Or actually, no, I take that back. When he's put into the Guardian Circle, he retires from the Guardian Circle, you Soul Charge 1. But with with Demon Eater, she allows him to go into the Soul. So that's what I was going to say. But then if it's your turn, if it's your turn and you put him into the Soul, the Vanguard gains 10,000 power. So he does things regardless of whether it's defensive or offensive. So when it's offensive, he gains power, and then when it's defensive, he gives you more soul. So a very good card overall. And then the last grade 1 I'm running is 2 Prisoner Beast. When he's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, you may Soul Charge 1. And if you have 5 or more cards in your Soul, he gains 2,000 power. So similar to Werwolf Sieger. Werewolf Sieger would be a 15... he'd be a 14k base. This would be a 10k base. And it's always active. This is during your turn, but this is always active. So he becomes a 10k even on the opponent's turn. That's one thing that's worth mentioning about him. So 2 of him. That's the grade 1 lineup. Then for the trigger lineup, we run 4 March Rabbit of Nightmareland. The original Vanilla Sentinel. Now he's a draw trigger Sentinel for the clan. So I am running those, and then I'm running Blitzritter. All of these are like classic criticals from way back in the day. This guy I don't remember though. I don't know if he's new, or I don't know what set he came out in originally. Werluchs Gefreiter or something, some like German name. So 8 critical, 4 draw. So basically a standard trigger lineup, and then of course Curse Doctor, the original heal trigger for the clan, back in action. And the original rare starter, he's now a common, Vermillion Gatekeeper. So that's Dark Irregular. They basically are, the way I look at these releases, they're trying to prevent power creep. And I think for the most part, they're doing a good job. I don't know how they're going to maintain it though, because I don't know. We'll see. Anyway guys, hope you liked that deck profile video, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks.